am not afraid to die. I am not a mendicant. I am not going to ask for something by way of alms. I am not going to sit up with four paws raised. I am sure my countrymen will not sit silent. They will not let General Zia go scot-free. General Z is currently trying to decide whether he can strengthen his hold on the country by executing me. Perhaps he does not know that there may be a Gaddafi down there, some radical major or colonel in the Pakistani army. We could wake up and find him in Zia's place one morning, jotting down his thoughts in his diary. Bhutto wrote that General Zia may not be willing or able to realize it at the present moment, but barring himself and a handful of his advisors and followers, the rest of the world is bound to look upon my hanging as a political murder. He further reflected, "You cannot stop me if my days are numbered. I am not afraid of death. What I detest is the manner in which I have been treated in the prison cell, and what has pained me is the harsh treatment my friends, my colleagues, my followers and members of my family have received after I was removed and jailed." On May 21, 1978, my wife, Nusrat, had a meeting with me in the Rawalpindi prison. She wept as she gave an account of how my friends, relatives and supporters had been tortured as part of General Zia's plan to bring about annihilation of the forces loyal to me. All that I could do on the occasion was to educate my wife about the need for utmost caution while functioning as the leader of the Pakistan People's Party. I kept myself involved in writing letters and notes and reading newspapers and news magazines after Nusrat left the prison cell. Two junior officials on duty were of immense help to me. Although they posed as hardliners in the presence of other members of the jail staff, the two officials proved themselves considerably intelligent while undertaking the responsibility of smuggling out some of the letters and documents I had drafted for some heads of governments and for some of my friends. And as my friends in China, Saudi Arabia, London, Libya, Syria, Washington, France and Iran received the letters, General Zia was approached to keep politics aloof from the legal issues arising from the Lahore High Court's verdict. I did not write any letters to the Indian Premier, Morarji Desai. I knew that Desai and General Zia had reached an understanding with the help of America on the need to see me out. In spite of Desai's stand against me, I managed to have quite a few friends in India. New Delhi always stood against my stand, to strengthen Pakistan economically, to build bridges between Pakistan and the rest of the world, to help freedom struggles in colonized territories, including Indian-occupied Kashmir, to develop scientific and nuclear technology in Pakistan, to pursue an independent foreign policy, and to strengthen and modernize the country's armed forces. I did disclose that I drafted several letters and prepared some documents in the prison cell. A long letter, you can call it a memorandum, was sent out to Dr. Kurt Waldheim. Zia might have been surprised, if not shocked, by the manner in which my son, Murtaza, placed it before Dr. Waldheim. If Michael Hart in New York could give you a list of the 100 most influential people who have ever lived, you should not hesitate to assert that I was the only person who, in the most agonizing moments, endeavored successfully while writing letters, weaving real stories and drafting documents, to make them pages of unabated importance. On October 23, 1978, Murtaza Bhutto, 24-year-old son of Pakistan's former Prime Minister, met the UN Secretary-General, Dr. Kurt Waldheim, and handed over a letter, smuggled out of Bhutto's death cell, saying that a false murder case had been foisted on him by those in power, and appealing to the world community to take note of it. Murtaza, a student at Oxford, came to the United Nations from London to talk to Dr. Waldheim and present his father's letter, complaining that physical cruelty and mental torture were being meted out to him in his cell. Without exaggeration, I tell you that I have been treated worse than Nazis or the victims of apartheid in Africa were treated, you, the letter said. I would request you to circulate this message to diplomats at the current session of the General Assembly. As yet another session of the General Assembly convenes in New York to discuss issues of war and peace and presumably human rights, it must know that the elected leader of Pakistan is being subjected to brutal hardships ever since the coup d'etat of July 1977. By now, friend and foe alike know that a false murder case has been fabricated against me, in which I have been in solitary confinement for over a year and in a miserable death cell for over 6 months in appalling conditions. I am not receiving proper medical treatment, although I am urgently in need of it. The conditions are so unbearable that on 2 occasions I was compelled to go on a hunger strike to protect my honor. Relevant world leaders are aware of the documentary evidence as to why my life hangs in the balance. My blood, if it spills, will surely stain their hands, and in history they will owe a debt of blood.